We are back to look at the next installment of those must-get boss drops and their items, and we are up to number 21. This is a bit more of a mini episode. There are still some nice armors within this, but I would say it's one of the less exciting parts, which I know is a sort of thing you should always say at the start of a new video. We're over at the Shipwreck first, where if you defeat the captain you can get an egg, and there is also this giant lobster if you would like some lobster related items. There's a pet and also a scythe of his claws. A little bit later in this video there are some pretty cool capes, especially if you like the kind of floating ones where there's a figure above you. We do feature a couple of those, and there's some Legion items because we'll be going along to a certain version of Dage the Evil as well. First of all, we're at this mini boss map, so if you do go along, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, but it did flash up on screen a minute ago. You can defeat the boss, and that was his drop set. Over at Join Shogunwar, defeating the boss does actually have a very specific set you're able to go along and grab. There's some Oni items within here, and also the Shadow Ronin armor. I do quite like the Shadow Ronin armor. It may be something, if it's your style, you may consider picking up. It is AC tagged. There's also 3 seasonal items at the top of the drop list. They are all tagged to AQW New Year, so you will have to wait a little while in order to get those dropping again. Over at Siegefortress, which is one of my favourite maps in this video, first of all, have a look at the merch shop here. It's definitely worth it. There is one of those enchanted capes I said about with the figure above you. You've also got the Dage the Evil boss. There's 2 different sets you can get from here. There is the Abyssal Frost set. These are all AC tagged and free player, which is very, very crucial, and another floating figure for you right there. There are also a couple items featured on the thumbnail of this video within this drop table. You have got the Sword of the Underworld, that is one of the ones I showed you on the front, and also the Underworld Lich Set as well. For members, you can get a dual version of the Sword of the Underworld. I think it's a really cool sword, definitely worth picking up if you like it. Next up, over at Join a Skull Arena. If you look in the merge here, you can get yourself the Neo Metal Necro class, have a little mini farm for that one right there, so you can go along, grab yourself a class if you really fancy it. And then there's 4 or 5 different monsters we're going to look at here. There is this Necro guy, and if you defeat him, yes, there's going to be lots of music themed gear. You're going to be able to get guitars and also some drums a little further along. In the next room, you'll find these 2 monsters. There are some house guards of pretty much all of them, and they also have some hair as well, so who knows, maybe you want a new hairstyle. The other monster here also has yet another house item, also a skeleton themed microphone stand if you would like to bonk people with that. The final room has 2 more. We have got the drummer for the drummer house item, as well as, you know what, they might even be very similar hairs to what we've already looked at, but you do get a really cool guitar off a pit if you do like his kind of skull guitars. He has got one for you. The next map is Join Voltaire. If you come here, it is a member-only map. Essentially, you defeat all the monsters in the room, you progress through to the next act, and you'll come across various different monsters. There's this beast who drops this weapon. If you do like it, it's a little bit different. Always worth clicking on the treasure chest as you go as well, because you get more quests which always have drop items for you, and some of them are pretty cool, like the Trident of Storms. That is definitely one that I do fancy. Many of these are also free player as well, which is really weird at a member-only map, so you can pick the items up if you're a member now, and keep them for when you're not. The final boss is this undead pirate. Most of his drops are in fact rare, but if you do like OG stuff, there is this kind of cutlass weapon at the bottom with the old school glow going around it. Join Academy is up next. The boss here, sadly yet again another member only map with loads of legend items, but there is a pretty cool set that drops here. It's called, like, I don't even know how I'm going to say that. You can try and pronounce that however you like. It's worth noting plenty of helms are dropping from this boss as well. Some of them are pretty quirky and they could work with various different sets if you want something a little bit more edgy, and also the red sword from the thumbnail. So join Sleuthound. If you have not ever completed this mystery, you need to speak to Curry. He basically has 3 invisible quests for you to do. If you complete them all, or you can fast join a player, there is this like wardrobe boss within the map, and if you would like to know what it drops, lots of legend gear, but also a good mix of AC tagged items as well. This is one of those maps that released so long ago it's mostly forgotten about. Occasionally we still have to dip into it. I'm certain they made us go back here for a recent endgame grind, so that is just worth noting. You know, you may never have revisited here, and you may never even done the mystery. It's very different to what we get in the modern Adventure Quest worlds, so worth a little visit over there if you get some time. The 7 Deadly Dragons saga always appears from time to time, and if you've never played through it, again, it's very much worth your while. There's some really nice drops, and you can get a key from each of the bosses and go along and open a special treasure chest. There is this shadow cape that you're able to get. Again, that's one of those that we mentioned towards the start of the video. And then if you do fight the Phlegon, I don't even know how you're meant to say that, you can get the Dragon Plague Scythe, which is pretty cool. There is another little Dragonoid pet as well dropping from here. You're also able to fight the actual Sloth Dragon by accepting Galanoff's bonus quest, but I could not remember for the life of me how on earth to make it appear. But if you do figure it out, there are 2 legend-only pets that you can get from the actual Sloth Dragon. Smuurvil was a place, and one of those places I forgot even existed. But if you do come over to Smuurvil, you can fight Papa Smuurvil, who has got lots of Smurf-related drops for you. I think these do cross over with the other monsters in the map, but he seems to just have the whole host of them all dropping from him. They're pretty much all legend, apart from a couple of the items. Join Snowmore is up next. I used to do the voice for this and say Jon Snow properly, but in this instance, I'm being boring and not doing it this time round. However, there is a nice little drop list. You get some house guards, there's a pet you can grab, and also a fire sword. Not quite a burning blade, but still, a fire sword. And a throne, if you want the throne for your house. Join whatever the heck that map name is, where you can find yourself the Shadow of Malthus, and if you defeat that, you can get a load of like kind of raven, death bird related items. We're nearly there now for this mini part episode. If you go to join Stairway and choose not to ride the Zeppelin, you can go inside, head all the way to the left, finding a couple of Bruise Brothers who will drop you this hat. So if you want a little hat, then there you go, you can get it over at the Stairway. Anyway folks, I'm afraid that is all for this particular video, but we'll be back for part 22 incredibly soon. So until next time, have a lovely day.